Hello friends, my name is Jess and welcome back to my channel, Books Past Bedtime. In today's video, I am going to be trying to complete or make progress in some of the series that I'm currently reading. So I'm sure you've seen this vlog floating around BookTube. It's been pretty popular the last couple of months and I really love the idea. I think it's super fun to kind of have like a fun themed video concept and also like be productive and make progress in some of the things that I have started and neglected or am procrastinating. I think at the time of filming this video, I was probably in the middle of like, I don't know, over 25 series, which is crazy and not great. So I definitely in this vlog want to make some progress on these series. Spoiler alert, I have already filmed the vlog. This is like a post intro. I did not feel like putting makeup on, and also I think I literally just like sat down to edit this video and realized I didn't have an intro. And I think like a couple months ago when I started filming the vlog, I was like, oh, I'm gonna do like a cool like Hiiiiieee fan B-roll voiceover intro, and I just am not that kind of girl. And I think the first step to becoming who I truly am is acknowledging that I am not like those girls. I love watching their videos. I think they're so fun and creative, but just like where I am in my life, I don't have the time or creative energy to dedicate to making an intro like this. We're doing an intro like this where I'm going to sit down and talk to the camera. Anyway, in this vlog, we're going to be reading 4 books to make progress in or complete various series. The first book that I'm going to be reading is Prince and Betrothed by Tavia Lark. This is the 5th book in the Perilous Court series, but it is the second book. So the Perilous Court series is split into like the first 3 books are about princes who are brothers, and the second 3 books are about another set of princes who are 3 brothers. And so like I've already read the first 3. Now this is like the second brother of these princes, if that makes sense. That will complete me up to what is published in that series, so that is awesome. And then, honestly, this one is pretty shameful. We're also going to be reading Husband Material by Alexis Hall. This is the second book in the like London Calling series. The first book being Boyfriend Material, which I loved, gave 5 stars, one of my favorite books. I think it's amazing. And I've not heard great things about this book, which I believe is why I've been procrastinating and putting it off. But it's finally time to read it in this vlog because procrastinate no longer. I will be getting caught up to date. I do think there's going to be a 3rd book in this series, and there's also like spin-off books, but I'm not like counting those. I think that there is another direct sequel called Father Material coming, but it's not out yet, so I will be caught up to publication for this book as well. Next, we'll be reading A Power Unbound by Freya Marks. This is the 3rd and final book, the Last Binding trilogy. This is a historical fantasy queer series, and each book follows a new couple. In this book, we're following Jack and Alan and their romance, as well as getting the conclusion to this like overarching magical historical fantasy plot that's been going on throughout the series. Super excited about this one. Cannot wait to dive in. I'm talking like I haven't already read these books. Wow, I'm so fake. And then last but not least, I'm going to be reading Iris Kelly Doesn't Date by Ashley Herring Blake. This is the 3rd and final book in the Bright Falls series, which is a contemporary woman-loving woman romance series following a group of friends that all live in the same small town. Iris is the last of her friends to kind of couple up and get her romance. So this book is very exciting and will finish off the series for me. And yeah, so that is the TBR plus Prince and Betrothed, which we are starting with now. So I decided to start with Prince and Betrothed by Tavia Lark, and surprising no one, I'm loving it. It's so good so far. I'm about 100 pages in, so I wanted to hop on and give you an update before I read any further because I'm probably just gonna speed through the rest of it till the end. So this is technically the 2nd book in a trilogy, but it's kind of like the trilogy is a companion trilogy to another trilogy. So it's technically like the 5th book in a 6-book series. But the first trilogy follows like one set of 3 princes in one kingdom in this world, and then this trilogy is following the 3 princes of another kingdom in this world. Very complicated stuff, I know, but The books themselves really aren't that complicated. They're just so good and so sweet. Each book follows a different prince's romance, and in this book we're following a Prince Merrick. He is the middle prince of this kingdom, and he is a dragon rider, which means he's kind of like the military leader, because like the Dragon Corps is like the army kind of, and he is like the general of the army, and he's like this major badass. And Sai is a grail, which means he has this innate latent power that he himself cannot access. He needs to be like bonded to another mage who can then access the power through Sai. And it's a very like subservient role that Sai has been like prepped for his entire life. And Sai is like ready to take that on. Like he does not see any issue with it really. Like he wants to be useful and he wants to fulfill his purpose. But Merrick is having none of it, because Sai was originally supposed to be betrothed to Vanna, who was the like lead in the first book in this trilogy, but Vanna was having his own thing with his bodyguard. So Vanna like fucked off and ran away and is not there to take Sai on as his betrothed. It's left to Merrick, and Merrick is like, what the heck? Like, I'm supposed to be out here fighting, riding my dragon. I'm not gonna be betrothed. I'm not gonna use this man in any type of way. Like, this is morally wrong. Like, he feels morally wrong about it. So it's a super interesting dynamic, because Sai just like wants to be accepted by Merrick, but Merrick is like disgusted by the situation, not by Sai. But they're finally kind of starting to interact a little bit more. It will really be interesting to see like how their relationship dynamic develops. I already can tell that I love them. Like, I love this dynamic. I think it is so interesting, and it's kind of taken like a different kind of turn than I was thinking it was going to. I don't know what I was like thinking that was gonna happen, but it's really good so far. I'm really loving it, and I'm so excited to see them finally get together. Hopefully. Usually Tavia Lark does it around the 50% mark, so it should be soon. Crossing my fingers. But I don't know, they might have a little bit more relationship development before anything happens, just because their dynamic is a little bit different than ones in previous books. But I don't know, I'm very much enjoying it. I would imagine that this is going to be a 5-star book. I think almost every book that I've read by Tavia Lark has been 5 stars. I just love them. They're not super like, they're just super fun and cozy. I love the fantasy world and I love the romances. So I am going to keep reading this one, and I will let you know what my official final thoughts when I am done. Hello friends, I have a reading update for you. So I did finish Prince and Betrothed by Tavia Lark. I finished this a couple days ago, so sorry if my memory is like not totally correct. I think that I gave a like description of the book in the previous clip. Fingers crossed I did that. I did finish this one, and honestly I was like a little bit disappointed in this one. I really like, I don't know, I love the series, I love everything that Tavia Lark writes, and I really did like this one, but it just was missing a little bit of something for me. It didn't feel like as fully developed, and I almost wanted to go farther with some of the like, their relationship could have so easily like strayed into like a sort of light BDSM territory, and it did not do that, and I was honestly a little bit let down. Like, I kind of wanted to go there. I understand why we didn't for the sakes of the characters, but I don't know, like, it was missing something for me. I ended up giving this one 4 stars, which is pretty sad, because this is just like a 5-star series for me. Like, I love all of these books. Like, 6 stars honestly, especially because Prince and Bodyguard, the one right before this one, was like favorite. I thought it was so beautiful. The relationship, the yearning between those two was incredible. And I just felt like this one fell a little flat, especially right after that one. I just didn't connect to the characters as much as I wanted to. And it's so crazy because this was so promising to me. Like, I love a kind of power imbalance dynamic. I also love an arranged marriage. So I felt like this one was going to be right up my alley, and it just didn't hit the same. Like, I felt like the characters weren't as like unique as I wanted them to be. And like I said, the relationship dynamic didn't really end up where I wanted it to. So I was a little sad about that, but I mean, I still love this book. It was still a really fun read. I got through it super quick and I did really enjoy it. So 4 stars. I'm very excited for the next book though. It'll be the 6th book, and it'll be the Last Brother's story. And the Last Brother is super intriguing to me. He's kind of very bratty and attention seeking. He's the youngest, and he's just kind of the black sheep of the family almost. So his romance will be super interesting. But yeah, 4 stars for this one. I also did end up starting Husband Material by Alexis Hall. Sorry about the glare. And I am 120 pages into this one. So this is the follow-up to Boyfriend Material. If you didn't know, in a Boyfriend Material, Luke and Oliver meet and they kind of start fake dating because Luke is kind of like a quasi-celebrity. His father is pretty famous, and so Luke sometimes is like in the media, and he got into like some kind of kerfuffle that makes his reputation go downhill, and the charity that he works at really wants him to be seen as like a stable, reliable employee because a lot of their donors are pulling out. So he needs to get his act together, and so he enlists the help of a friend who suggests Oliver. Luke and Oliver kind of have like, they definitely have mutual friends, and they kind of have not gotten the best first impressions of one another, so they don't really want a fake date. But Oliver also needs someone to take to like a wedding or some kind of family function, and so he and Luke agree this arrangement, and obviously they end up falling in love. I really loved the first book of this one. It was just so funny, and I loved how the relationship built between Luke and Oliver, and I loved the way they communicated and dealt with their issues, and it was just a really sweet, really fun romance. I loved it. And I've kind of been putting this book off because I'm not necessarily like a sequels person when it comes to romances, at least not direct sequels following the same characters. So I was kind of like afraid to pick this one up, so I put it off for so long. For like 2 years now I've been putting this book off, so I'm glad that I'm finally reading it, especially because I'm really enjoying it so far. Like, it has the classic Alexis Hall humor. Like, it's so funny. I'm just grinning from ear to ear. Also, it seems like Luke and Oliver will maintain obviously they're gonna have miscommunications. It's a romance book, but it's kind of separated into parts, and as far as the first part goes, it ended in like a happily ever after, you know, so it's not like they're gonna spend the whole book fighting, which is I think what I was really worried about. But obviously it's called Husband Material, so hopefully they get married. But yeah, that's where I am with this one, and I'm really enjoying it so far. It could be a 5-star book, which would be crazy because this has horrible ratings and I feel like people don't really like it. And I don't know like what would make this book 5 stars for me. I think just if like I have fun, there's not too much unnecessary drama and angst. It's like cute. Maybe it won't be 5 stars because I don't know that it's really like a necessary book. I don't know. I'm having a fun time, so I'm excited to keep going in this one and see where it goes. And if I have some kind of revelation while I'm reading, I'll let you know. Otherwise, I will let you know my final rating and thoughts once I'm finished with this one. Hi friends, I'm here with an update for you. So I finished Husband Material by Alexis Reed, and I was really let down by this one. I think I would have really liked it and rated it high had it not ended as it did. So basically the shtick of this book is like 4 weddings and a funeral. And so in the second half of this book, since I last updated you, I got to the other 3 weddings and the funeral, and everything was like going well until the final wedding. And I don't know, like it started to get on my nerves that Luke and Oliver were having the same argument like over and over and over again and not seeming to make any progress. And even by the end of the book, it really felt like they were in the same place as they were in the beginning of the book. So it really just felt like, what was the purpose of all of this? It was really frustrating to read, and I was really sad by the end. I really wanted it to go differently. Like, one part of me appreciates like the message of the book, and I don't want to like get super into it because I don't want to spoil anything. But like, I could see where the idea and the concept and the ending was coming from. But I feel like if you were going to make that point, we didn't need this whole book to do it, and I don't feel like this book made the point very effectively. I don't know, like it just really let me down. I did feel like Luke and Oliver were like true to their characters throughout this, I guess, and there were definitely some like cute moments and stuff, but I really don't think that this was a sequel we needed. I really think that the story should have just been left at Boyfriend Material and everyone be a lot happier. I'm really upset by this one. I think I ended up giving it 2 stars because like I did enjoy my time reading it, especially in the beginning, but as it went through, I just started to get annoyed, started to get frustrated that it was just the same thing happening over and over again, and yeah, I really was not a fan of that ending, so unfortunately, this was not a win. Hello, it's been a minute since I updated this vlog, but I'm back with an update. I did start reading A Power Unbound by Freya Marks, and I'm loving it. I'm so obsessed. It's actually 2024 now, and this is the first book that I picked to read in 2024, and I'm so glad I did because I'm loving it so much. It's literally so good. So this is the 3rd book in the last binding trilogy. I was like, what is the name of the series? It's not coming to me. But this is the 3rd and final book in that trilogy, and it's a really great conclusion so far. I wasn't really sure like how I was gonna feel about this one, but honestly this one might win out for as my favorite because I really loved the first book, A Marvelous Light. I really liked the coupling between Robin and Edwin, and I thought that the plot was good and interesting, but there was a lot of like setup because we had to be like introduced to the world and the magic system and all of that stuff, so that kind of made the first book a little bit slow. So I think I ended up giving the first book like a 4.5. The second book, you're like fully immersed in the plot, and it's really exciting, and you like don't have all of this like context and exposition like explaining what's going on. But Maud and Violet, I really liked them together as a couple, but they weren't as like OTP material kind of, I think, as like Robin and Edwin were. Excuse my like outdated Tumblr terminology. I don't know how else to describe the way I like felt about their relationship. Like I really liked them together, but I wanted like them to like each other together more than they seem to. Like it was almost like a happy for now kind of ending instead of like a happily ever after between them. So I was like kind of on the fence about their relationship. I wasn't so sure about it because in my romance, I like you are the person for me. I am so sure of it, period. End of story. Goodbye. But Maud is so young in that book. I think she's like only 18 or something, or like between 18 and 20. And so she's like, I'm so young. Like, I don't know how I'm going to feel in the future. I'm like, no, Maud, that's not how this works. Anyway, we're not talking about that book. We're talking about A Power Unbound. And in this story, we're following Lord Hawthorne, who is actually an ex of Edwin's. And he's like grumpy, and there's this like, he's mysterious because he used to be a magician, but he lost magic, and he's never spoken to anyone about what happened or like what is going on. But honestly, that is the prologue of this book. So we finally get to see like what happened in Hawthorne's mysterious past, which was so interesting, and it really like connects and ties together a lot of moving pieces so far, so we kind of get a better like visual idea of where the story is going to end up, or at least I think I do halfway through this book have a better idea of like where it's going. I think that it's just gonna be so interesting, and it's like all the puzzle pieces are like slotting together, and I'm having fun like trying to piece together like what's going to happen next and like how everything is interconnected, because everything is 100% interconnected in these books. Freya is just such a talented author in that way. Like she's really woven like a really masterful, tight plot in my opinion, and the world is really cool. It's very much giving like, I hate comparing things to Harry Potter, but it really does remind me of Harry Potter in the like the good ways. Like it's set in London. It kind of has like a historical edge to it. Harry Potter doesn't, but and just the way that like magic is like hidden from the humans in society, and there's like non-magical people and magical people, and just some of the like basic concepts are similar, but this is like Harry Potter for gay adults, which is also kind of what Harry Potter is for, but I don't want to talk about this anymore. We hate J.K. Rowling in this house, but I just can't get that comparison like out of my head. Anyway, these books are great. They're fantastic. I don't even know if I'm gonna keep that in. Okay, so we're following Hawthorne. I didn't even tell you the other person that's involved. So we're also following Alan Ross, who is a poor, down on his luck journalist. And he was introduced in the second book, and he kind of helped them solve the like isolated mystery within the second book. And now he has come back to like ask for additional help, additional work from Lord Hawthorne and the rest of the gang, because he knows like what they're trying to do. He's like, well, maybe I can help, because he has kind of this special power where he like repels magic almost. So he's very useful to them in a lot of ways. So he offers his services, and him and Hawthorne have this like connection, like will they, won't they kind of like despise each other. Like Hawthorne doesn't really hate Alan Ross, but he finds him kind of annoying, and like Alan gets under his skin, and Alan hates everything that Lord Hawthorne is, because Alan is a I was filming my vlog update.
Well, now you get me. I'll go in the bathroom.
But Alan is basically working class poor, so he hates everything that Lord Hawthorne stands for and is, but he comes to see him as more of a person throughout the story, and like more of Hawthorne's like morals and views reveal themselves to Alan, and he's like, okay, maybe I'm like hating him and not really knowing him, but they have kind of an enemies to lovers, will they won't they kind of thing going on. There is smut before the 50% mark. Yeah, I'm really loving it so far. I really just want to sit down and finish it, and so I am going to do that, and I will be back with my final thoughts once I'm finished. Hi friends, so I have severely procrastinated filming these updates to this series vlog because that's just what I do. I'm a procrastinator at heart. So hopefully I can like give you a concise, succinct update. Remember the things that I wanted to say about these books because I have finished reading for this vlog like over a month ago. I don't know why I do this to myself. I don't know why I do this to you. Let's just get into it. Of course, you already know because of how I edited this video that we're currently talking about Power Unbound, and I have finished it. I finished it. It was actually the first book that I finished in 2024, and I'm really glad that I picked this one to be my first read of the year, and I kind of did it on purpose because I really thought that this one was going to be a 5-star because I loved this series so much. I was really excited for this newest installment, and I was correct. I loved it. I gave it a full 5 stars. I think it's the first in the series that I actually gave a full 5 stars to. And it is probably my favorite, which is kind of crazy to me because I loved Edwin from the first book so much. Like, he's my favorite type of character, you know. But I think I ultimately gave that book a 4.5 because there were some like world building things that I wasn't totally on board with and thought it was a little bit slow. This book was like exciting from beginning to end. The plot was so intricate. I loved the storyline, and I loved that we got to see a like very satisfying conclusion to this overarching magical plot that's been happening throughout this entire series. I thought it tied up really nicely. I didn't think that the ending was like rushed at all. It felt very satisfying. Like, it was such a good conclusion. The like climax ending big conflict scene I thought was given the proper amount of depth and attention in this book, which I so appreciated because so often you like read a series like this with this overarching plot and it's kind of a fizzle at the end, and I really did not get that from this book. I loved it so much. And of course, I loved Jack and Alan together. I loved their relationship. I loved how it started off antagonistic. I always love a sort of antagonistic enemies to lovers situation. That is very much my vibe, my jam. So with this one, for sure. I mean, I feel like they all, well, Violet and Maud weren't necessarily antagonistic towards one another, but Edwin and Robin definitely were, and so were Jack and Alan. They definitely started off kind of not necessarily enemies, but they kind of like begrudgingly ended up working together, and their relationship just kind of naturally grew from there. It kind of started as like a physical thing and then manifested more so into like a traditional relationship. I did think that this book was very hot. The sex scenes were very well done. This one was definitely kinkier than some of the other books in the series, which I personally appreciated and enjoyed. So I thought that this was a super successful read. I'm really glad that I finally finished off this series. I'm very satisfied with this one. This might be my favorite of the video. I really love this book so much. Iris Kelly Doesn't Date by Ashley Herring Blake. I'm about a third of the way into this one. Really loving this one so far. This is the third book in the Bright Falls series. We're following we're following Iris. Iris is getting her romance in this one. It basically starts out with a hookup gone wrong between Iris and Stevie. They both are going out for their own reasons. Stevie is trying to kind of like make her own way after she broke up with her long-term girlfriend, and her long-term girlfriend is now dating another of their best friends. Iris is just trying to like let loose, maybe get some inspiration for a romance novel because she's a writer, but basically they have like a horrible first encounter. They aren't planning on seeing one another again, but Stevie is a member of this like queer theater group. Iris and her friend decide to audition because they think maybe it'll help them get inspiration for their books, and Iris and Stevie run into one another again. The problem is that Stevie kind of told her friends that it went really well with Iris because she doesn't want them to think of her as like a loser. She wants them to think that she is fine and making her way and finding someone new. And so when she meets Iris again, she like begs her to play along. So now they're gonna start fake dating, and Iris is going to milk this opportunity for all it's worth and try and like get some romance inspiration for her book. That's where we are right now. Basically, Stevie and Iris have just kind of been reintroduced, so I'm really excited to see where it goes from here. I really love both Stevie and Iris. I relate to both of them a lot. Probably Stevie a little bit more so. Stevie is very like quiet, reserved, has a lot of anxiety, and is like has a lot of nerves around like romantic attachment and like being sexual, whereas Iris is like inherently a very sexual person, very comfortable in her own body. She is kind of struggling with like feelings of loneliness and isolation. So I'm really excited to see how Iris and Stevie like play off one another and their dynamic as they progress further in their relationship. I think it's gonna be super cute, and I really think I'm gonna love this one. Hopefully it works for me better than Husband Material did, because this one was sad, but I'm really loving this one so far. All right, you might recognize this get up from a clip ago. Same day. I have just been putting off finishing filming this video, so yeah. Obviously we're talking about Iris Kelly Doesn't Date by Ashley Herring Blake. The final book in this vlog is finished, and I really loved this one as well, albeit not quite as much as a Power Unbound. So this is the conclusion to the Bright Fall series. We're following Stevie and Iris, and I from the jump, I really thought that this one was going to be my favorite in the series. I just really thought that I would relate so much to Stevie, and while I did relate to Stevie in a lot of ways, I don't think this is my favorite in the series. It's kind of hard to compare them, honestly, because don't get me wrong, they are all fantastic books. Delilah was a high 4 for me. Astrid was a 4.5, and this one, Iris Kelly, ultimately I think is going to get a high 4 from me as well. I did really enjoy it. I really liked Iris and Stevie's individual characters, and I liked them together. I liked how they were kind of foils of one another, but at the same time they worked so well together, and I really enjoyed their romance and how it was kind of like quirky and bumpy and rocky, but throughout all of that they kind of realize has like fake dating in it too. Through the fake dating and through like hanging out with one another more, they start to realize like how real their connection actually is, and I always love that trope. It was done really well in this book. I am very sad to be like closing the chapter of this series because I have loved reading it. I've loved looking forward to it every year, and I just adore these characters so much, so I'm excited to see what Ashley Herring Blake does next. I also was kind of surprised how much I ended up relating to Iris in this book, just in kind of like her internal thoughts and insecurities. I was like, okay, I feel pretty seen by Iris as well, which I really did not think that I would connect to her so much, which I honestly should have known because Iris has consistently been my favorite like side character in the first 2 books. I loved her. I thought she was hilarious. It was kind of fun like to get into her head and realize that this like hilarious, fun friend is kind of a front, and she's really got a lot of depth to her character and is so much more than just like the funny, loud friend. And that was honestly some of the way that she dealt with her own trauma and her own insecurities. So I always love reading about stuff like that, and I thought it was really well done and handled like very delicately and in a very relatable way. So I really enjoyed that about this book as well. I don't know, I just really loved this. It was really good, like a high 4, as I said. I don't know, like I struggle a little bit with these romances because they're just like there's something like a little slow about them. I don't know how to explain it, but they're not like compulsively readable to me. Like I'm not sitting there and reading them in one sitting, you know? So I think that that's what ultimately like knocks a star off for me. It wasn't like there was something that I really disliked about this book. I just didn't connect to it as much as I thought I would, so I couldn't justify giving it a 5-star. But of course I still really loved it, so it was a good, satisfying way to end this vlog. And that is everything from me today. Overall, this was a very successful vlog, and I'm very glad that I did it and made some progress in and even completed some series. I feel very accomplished, and I am already looking forward to doing this experiment again in the future. I think that this is a really fun idea. Obviously it's not mine. This is a very popular booktube idea, so I will link some of my favorite creators and their videos that I really enjoyed in the description down below, so definitely check those out. I will also have the books that I read linked in the description. These are affiliate links through Amazon. You can help support my channel at no extra cost to you by buying through these links, but of course they're just there to like help you. They're not there like don't feel any obligation to do so. If you would like to follow me on any other social media platform, those links can be found in the description as well. And I think that is all for me today, so don't forget to like this video, subscribe if you enjoyed it to see more content from me. I'm trying to get something out once a week. That's the current plan. So thank you so much for watching this video and spending your time with me. I really appreciate you being here, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.